Alright, so in this tutorial I am going to show you how to get rid of areas of pictures that are getting in the way of you creating a cohesive image. So backgrounds you may not need, or just parts of a picture that you really may not need. And we do that by going to the Decorate tab. In the last tutorial we were working in the Layers tab. This is what it looked like. Now we actually want to click on the Decorate tab, and there is one function and one function only that we will use in this tab for the purposes of getting rid of unwanted areas, and that is the Eraser tool. So you see when I click on the eraser, which I will do again, I have an option to select my brush size. Brush really means eraser size. The brush size is the eraser size. And as you see right now, it's all the way to the plus sign. So I have a fairly big eraser, and I can make a medium eraser, or I can make a really tiny eraser. And just for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to stick with a really large eraser, and I'll show you how it works. All I have to do is click on my mouse or on my pad and move it around, and it starts erasing. Now the problem is that because my layers are right on top of each other, when I erase, I'm erasing, in this case, two layers. The layer that is the picture of the river, as well as the layer that is the picture of the deer, and I actually want to keep my river picture intact for now at least, and erase the background from the deer. So I'm going to say, instead of saying done, I'm going to say undo. And what I need to do is I actually need to make sure that my layers are not sitting on top of each other. So I'm going to, and I may need to change their size for now for that too. So I'm going to make the images that I don't want to touch really small and put them away from the one that I do want to touch, which I will keep bigger. Actually, I'm even going to blow it up a bit more so that I have lots of room to work. All right, so now I grab my eraser, and I have a big eraser, and I start deleting the background of the deer, and you see my gray from the work area appears, which is great. That's exactly what I want. And I can start by not being too detailed, just getting rid of the big areas that are on my way. There we go. So one thing that happens is if my brush can't fit in the workspace, you see there it kind of would go off the workspace, so it doesn't let me use it. So I may need to use a smaller one to get into those areas. So I just went up and slid the bar to get a smaller one. Okay, I'll make it big again to get there. I'm making sure that I don't actually erase the deer itself. If I want to get inside the deer here, maybe I want to make my brush a little bit smaller, or my eraser a little bit smaller. I'm going all around it. All right, so I'm going to click done. I'm going to bring my river image behind the deer again and see how it's looking. It's looking okay, but I still have all those bits of brown around the deer that I really don't want. So I'm going to do some more fine-tuned detail, getting rid of my river. And I think what I will do is I will blow up. Remember how I showed you before how you can kind of zoom in and out of your workspace? I think I'm going to really zoom in to my workspace so I can get those details there. And with my sliding bars at the bottom and on the right, I can kind of navigate that space. So I'll grab my eraser again and make it a little bit bigger. I can really start getting all the way in to get rid of unwanted areas. And this is what requires tons and tons of patience. It's a slow, tedious process, but it makes a really important difference when you actually work on the photo montage because it allows you to integrate images seamlessly. It doesn't look like something's being cut in a sloppy way and pasted, but you can make it seem as though images belong together. Okay, so I want to go lower. I slide my bar here and keep going lower. This big brush is too big to go in between the two legs, so I'm going to make it smaller, even smaller, so I can really get nice detail there. All right, so I'm not going to have you watch while I do all of this. I noticed that I made a mistake there. Man, okay, so undo, let's see how far I need to go. Okay, I recovered it. I need to go back here and do some of the erasing I had done, which I have now lost. Okay, so what I was saying is I'm not going to have you watch me do all of the erasing here. So I'm going to come back in a little bit. Okay, I just thought I'd give you a little window into my process here of getting rid of the background around the deer. Of course, I needed to pick a stag with antlers to make my life really complicated, but I've been patiently working my way around it, trying to get the edges as smooth as I can, which is not always easy, but I think I'm doing okay. Making my eraser smaller whenever I need to make it smaller, which will be the case for all those little areas in there. It's tedious, but it can be kind of addictive too, to be honest, at least for me. Okay, I think I really need a smaller eraser for those areas. Okay, I'll come back when I'm done. All right, I'm back, and I've pretty much freed my deer up from its surroundings. I see that I have some areas here that I still need to get rid of. And if you recall, I really zoomed into my workspace to be able to see the outline of the deer in detail. But now I really want to zoom out so I can recover my other pictures and start integrating them. So I will, this big black dot is a reminder that I still have my eraser on, which I definitely don't want to have on. I don't want to erase my other pictures, at least not yet. So I'm going to click on done. And now I can bring my river picture there again, make it big. And now without a background, my deer can really be on that river.